All right, guys. Thank you for being here tonight. I'm really excited about tonight. We are talking about avatars. And if you haven't seen the Avatar movie, is it called Avatar? Yeah, okay, good. I had a little brain fart for a second. If you've ever seen Avatar, you know kind of what I'm talking about. It's these blue people. They don't have to be blue, but it's your twin. It's your mini-me. It's your lifer. It's your ideal customer / coach. It's the person that you essentially want to talk to. So tonight we're going to learn how to craft our avatar, which is a really exciting exercise, I think, a really exciting activity for us because it involves kind of just thinking about who you really are and what makes you tick. So I kind of crafted mine as I was preparing this, and I've been crafting mine, but I really dug in deep tonight as I was getting all this ready, and it was kind of fun. And so I'm encouraging you guys to also dig in deep. As we're going, I'm going to try to bust through a lot of this stuff so that you can actually craft and create your avatar tonight while we're on, so that you've already got that work out of the way. So when we go to post and talk to people on social media, I know, and I say this from my heart because I know it personally, that I love to help everyone. You know, like I want my post to like speak to everyone, and I want every single person to like it. But the reality is, not everybody's going to like my post. Not everybody's going to get what I'm saying, and that's okay. When I first started this business, I chased after everyone, and then there were a lot of coaches I had that you guys don't even know about on this call right now because they're not even on our team anymore because they quit. I had coaches that brought the dynamic of our team down and were miserable, and they complained a lot, and that wasn't what I wanted on our team. But yet that wasn't really the person I wanted, but yet I was grabbing for them because I was kind of just grabbing for anything. I was listening to a podcast earlier today, and it was talking about an analogy of a lake. And it's almost like with this business, if you just throw a big net, like anyone who wants to join my group, message me now, or I'm only taking 5 more people, message me now. Like if you just throw that net, I mean, you're grabbing at anything in that lake. And imagine, like maybe there's a really awesome, badass fish that you're trying to get. Like, yeah, I want that really cool one. But you're also going to get like the muck in the lake. You're going to get all the nasty like seaweed type stuff that maybe you didn't want. You're going to get those weird like 3-eyed fish that you didn't really want. Like maybe bugs and snakes and trash, right? Like I'm not calling people trashy. I'm just saying like there's different objects in the lake. And if you want a certain one, you've got to go fishing for it, right? You've got to go straight for what you want, not trying to just grab at any of the things that are in the lake. So I hope that analogy makes sense. I'm going to, open this up to presentation mode because it does get a little small. Perfect. Okay. So you got to know your market. Your vibe attracts your tribe. Whatever whatever vibe you're putting out there, it's going to attract the people that sound like you, that think like you, that want and need and like the same way you do. And that's good. That's what you're looking to do. In the beginning, it can be really hard to know who you're talking to. And so this exercise tonight is going to help us. We're going to help to figure out our personal markets. I think I spoke about it. I can't remember if it was on our team page or if it was in the bookworms page, but it's important that, you know, you start to get in touch with who you are and your brand as a coach because it was on our team page, that you're unique. Yeah, we're all coaches. Yeah, like we're all running challenge groups and we're all essentially selling the same products, right? Shakes and workout programs. So like, why would somebody pick you over me? Well, it's because you're speaking to them in a way that they need to be spoken to. You're adding value that they get. Like what I find valuable, maybe they don't find valuable, and they find what you find valuable to be of importance. You're also fulfilling their wants and needs, okay? So let's ask some questions. This is why I needed to be in full screen because it gets a little tiny here. Okay, so if you want to jot these down, these are some of the questions that after tonight and throughout tonight you can ask yourself. I'm going to go through them, and as you write them, because there's kind of a lot of questions here to write. Side note, I'm also going to post this this PowerPoint. I decided I'm going to start sharing the PowerPoints. Like, why not? Why am I not sharing them? Duh, Brittany, like, share this. I'm going to share these PowerPoints after our webinars, after our Zoom calls every Monday. So on Tuesday, when I share the link for the replay, I'll also share the PowerPoints too, so that if you missed anything, you can always go back. Or later, if you need it for something down the road to train somebody, you've got it at your fingertips. So, sorry, that was a tangent. Did I hit record? Oh my gosh, hold on, guys. Did I ever hit record? Stop share. Yes, I hit record. I'm so sorry. I'm having like a forgive me. It's Monday. Okay. I had a panic mode when I said that. Can you tell? Okay, back to the questions. Sharing the screen, presentation mode. I'm on it. Okay, I'm back. All right, so first one, what is the number one question I get asked? Think about that. When you start inviting people, what's the number one question those people are asking you? And I'm not saying just any old person. Like, think about what's the number one question you would ask. Like, what would you ask when I invited you to either coaching or when I invited you to a challenge group or whoever your upline is, when that person invited you, what did you first want to ask? So you can write these questions down, and as we go, you can also write your answers down if you immediately know them, okay? That'll help save you time later. What should my ideal customer or avatar be asking me that they aren't yet? So what were you afraid to ask me? What were you afraid to ask your upline coach? That is what they're probably afraid of asking you, but they still have that question looming. So you've got to kind of almost get in their head, right? And that's what we're going to talk about with your posting. Your posting should get in their head. Like, you should answer a question for them that they didn't even ever ask you, right? That's when you know it's good. Yes, that's when you're like, yes, I got them, because that's you. You already know what it is that they're thinking before they even tell you that. Next one, what are my top 3 posts on Facebook and Instagram in the last 6 months? Do not, I repeat, do not go on social media right now in the middle of this Zoom call and look, but afterwards, tonight, tomorrow, sometime this week, I encourage you to go back. Scroll your social media. I like to do this quite frequently, not because I just want to like brag on myself and like, yeah, my social media rocks. Because there's times I look at it, I'm like, ooh, Brittany, like, you've been on a tangent with selfies lately. You need to like mix it up with some stuff. Or that's a lot of Frankie. People are probably sick of seeing Frankie. But what are your top 3 posts? So I oftentimes will look back, like, what got the most likes? What had the most engagement in comments? And so look and find what those were, figure out what you were talking about, what was your message, what did the picture look like, and try to duplicate that. Not every day, but remember that that was a big deal. And also, timing plays a role into it too. So maybe the time of day that you posted / day of the week, right? I know on Saturdays and Sundays, I don't get as much reach because people aren't trying to escape their job on Saturdays and Sundays. Whereas on Monday through Friday, I get more reach because people are trying to scroll social media instead of face, whatever it is that they don't want to face during the work week. So people, in my opinion, in my network, are not on social media as much on Saturday and Sunday. So consider that. Next one, which expert does my avatar find valuable? Whose opinion do they value? Guys, I put a Brene Brown post up the other day, just a quote from her, and I put, that she was the person who quoted it. And people loved it. And people came out of the woodwork saying they love her, she's so awesome, this and that. I read this book of hers, and I watched this TED Talks. And so I learned that my people that get me, because I like her, they must like her too. So how do I get them plugged into people like her, right? How do I add value based on her research and the thoughts that she brings to the table? So think about, what experts do they find valuable? Whose opinion, right? If I'm giving the opinion of somebody that I don't value, then obviously my lifer is not going to value that either, right? What could my avatar talk about all day long? What could they just talk about all day long? Guys, I could talk about Food Network all day long. I could talk about Frankie all day long. I could talk about Charlie all day long. I could talk about Home Goods. I love Home Goods. It's so good. And Target. We could talk about Target forever. I could talk about Pinterest. I love Pinterest, right? So like, think about, what could you just talk about? Like, if somebody sat down with you to have coffee, what could you just go off about in a positive way? What is my avatar most afraid of? It's what you're afraid of. Whatever your avatar is afraid of, you're afraid of. Maybe you're not afraid of certain things anymore, but what did you used to be afraid of and how'd you get over it, right? So even things like that. What does my avatar need to know about me, right? How am I going to get them to connect to me? So maybe they need to know that, I'm just trying to think of something that like, maybe I don't tell people enough. What do people need to know about me? I'll come back to that one. But what do they need to know? That maybe you don't post often enough, right? Nowadays, I'm a little bit more removed from the classroom. Here's one. I'm a little bit more removed from the classroom. So now as I meet more people and add them to my network, I have to remind them that I once was a school teacher in a public school system. So I have to remind them of that because they might not know that about me. I also have to remind them, I love people in the arts and in color art and in drum corps and in WGI and all that good stuff. I love that. I'm currently removed from instructing there and performing in that venue. But my avatar needs to know that, you know what, I used to perform on a stage. I used to be on football fields. I used to enter that University of Dayton arena. And I've been there, right? And so what does your avatar need to know about you that maybe you're not currently doing? And so you've got to bring it to light for them. What is my avatar watching on YouTube or pinning on Pinterest? Those are important things, right? You want to know, like, it's what you would watch. Guess who I love on YouTube? And I don't talk about it nearly enough because it's not conflict of interest. I don't want to say that, but it's not Beachbody. But I love Yoga with Adriene. She is like, I love her. I love Yoga with Adriene. I do her yoga every single morning. And she just starts my day so great. And I love her. Like, I just feel like I know her. She lives in Austin, Texas. Like, it's awesome. And so I love watching Yoga with Adriene. So I know that my person probably likes that kind of quirky behavior, things like that. What is the real need that I could satisfy for my avatar? So like, what do they really need? For me, I really needed financial freedom. I really needed community. I really needed to feel like I didn't have to do things on my own, right? Even though I have this attitude, like I can do it myself, I needed to feel satisfied, not knowing that I didn't have to do it all by myself, right? So what does your avatar need that you could help satisfy? How could I help your avatar right now? Like if you found somebody right now, how could you help them? Like I messaged somebody the other day and she had on her timeline, she had posted a article about anxiety. And so I messaged her and I immediately let her know that I understand. And I'm so thankful that she posted that article and I totally understand. And if she ever needs to talk to somebody, and immediately we got into conversation about it. And I let her know, I was asking her like, hey, do you have like any strategies or tips for when you feel anxiety hit that help you to relieve that? And she said, honestly, no. And I said, well, do you mind if I offer you some of mine? Like I love to do yoga, this and that, right? I read personal development books that empower me. So I was able to give her, I didn't give her anything. I just gave her my time, I guess, right? Which is probably the best gift you can give anybody. But that's my avatar. It's somebody who faces anxiety and depression and oftentimes feels like they're alone, and reminding them that they're not alone. And here's what I do to help solve those problems, right? What are the top 3 things that are preventing my avatar from buying a challenge pack, joining a challenge group, or becoming a coach? So you've got to think, what prevented you in the beginning from maybe wanting to buy a challenge pack? Maybe what prevented you from joining a challenge group in the beginning? Maybe what prevented you from becoming a coach? Now, I always say I'm a Band-Aid ripper offer, right? Like I rip that Band-Aid off. So for me, my avatar doesn't really have many reservations. They just want to make sure they're not in a pyramid scheme and that, not in a pyramid scheme. And they want to make sure that, they have enough space on their credit card basically to go for the plunge, right? But my avatar doesn't really have any reservations about joining that, because when she's ready, she's going to be ready to just rip that Band-Aid. So I know that about her. What is my avatar not expecting from me? But if I created it, it would knock her socks off. So like a meal planner. I have a PDF document that like blew my mind because every week I meal plan. And then I was like, I just need to make a PDF of this so I can give it to my avatars, give it to my tribe, because this is something that I do every week. And so I know it's something that she's going to do, but she doesn't know how to do it yet. So let me knock her socks off, and it's free. I created it. It's free. It's for you, right? What is my avatar embarrassed to admit? What are those like dirty little secrets that she's hiding? And they don't have to be like dirty, right? Okay, like whatever. They can just be things that she's embarrassed to admit. You know, depression was a hard thing for me to admit at first. It took me a long time to cycle through all that. And now I wear it on my sleeve. Like, I don't care. That's part of my story. And so in the beginning I was embarrassed. And so I know my avatar might be actually embarrassed to admit things like that, right? What has my avatar tried in the, okay, we're back. Sorry. Panic. What has my avatar tried in the past that did not work for them? For me, tried to go to the gym. I'd get on a treadmill. I'd do some sort of crappy, like 20-minute, not hard treadmill workout. Like once I started getting my heart rate up, I was like, oh, pump it down now. I'd go on the stair machine. I don't even know what the stair machine does, honestly, except for like move your butt cheeks up and down like this. Like that's all that would happen for me. I was embarrassed to admit when I would go to the fitness center, I would, it didn't work for me because I would always have like nasty meathead guys, like trying to pick me up and like oogling over me. And like, I wanted to lift weights, but not over by bro, you know what I mean? And so like that, I tried that. It didn't work for me. And so there's that. What does my avatar need to believe? So for me, it's that you're enough. That you're totally enough, that you have enough, that you do enough, that you are enough, right? My avatar needs to believe in their spirituality and their faith. They need to find that walk, because for me, I didn't have a path. I didn't have a walk, so I didn't know, but I needed that, right? So finding those things to figure out about your avatar. Okay, moving on. I'm going to escape out really quick because I can't see your beautiful faces when I have it full screen like that. Did you get all those written down? Cool. All right. Is that Miss Kayla over there without her screen on? I see you, girl. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. Okay. So I think that's the smallest print. So I'm just going to leave it here now because it's hard for me. I can't see your faces when I'm doing that. I just feel like I'm talking to myself. So answering those questions for you should help you craft your post towards the people you're trying to attract. Guys, you become like the 5 people you spend the most time with. You got to choose carefully. So right now, if you think, who are the 5 people I'm spending time with? I heard this phrase like way back when, or this idea way back when. And I started to really worry because there were a lot of people that I was like giving my time to that I was like, I don't actually want to be like them. And I had tendencies towards them. And it was not easy to break away from those people. I never think I'm not telling you like today you're telling somebody, hey dude, I can't be your friend anymore because you suck and I don't want to suck. You can't do that, right? But you have to figure out boundaries and figure out space and figure out who really deserves to be part of your inner circle, right? Who do you give your most to? Now, obviously, when you're working towards crafting your post towards your avatar, you are going to get a little bit more intimate on social media than you may be used to. And that is scary. And I get it, okay? It does take some bravery and it takes some courage. But the people that matter, they matter, right? And the people who don't matter. So you have to remember that when you are like, oh, I don't want to hit post because what if so-and-so? Well, that's not who you're talking to. Okay. But you have to understand that when you start posting all these intimate details about your life, sometimes, and I say this from experience, there's a lot of people that think they know your life like deeply from the inside. And unfortunately they do because you are very vulnerable and open on social media. But unfortunately for them, they're not necessarily part of your inner circle. So I also caution you, as you get more intimate, building towards this avatar and just trying to really talk to that person, just know that doesn't mean that you have to give everyone all of your heart, okay? Because for me, that was a hard concept that I had to kind of figure out too along the way. Okay. So I'm sure you already have ideas running in your head. That's fine. I'm sure like who started already kind of writing some answers to those questions. Yeah. And that's good. That's good. Keep this going. Like keep a journal or somewhere, and there might be more questions or more, there's going to be more that comes up in a second here, but as you're going, keep it somewhere. If you need to make a file on your computer, like an avatar file, and any pictures you see that like remind you of yourself essentially, or you before, or you don't even have to talk to you from before. You can always talk to your avatar that you're going to be too, guys. So keep that in mind. But as you find this stuff, hang on to it. Okay. Today I was showering, and that's always where my best ideas come, right? When I'm in the shower and I have no access to like write it down. I need a whiteboard in the shower is what I need. That would work. But I was in the shower and I thought of, see, I can't even remember it now. I thought of evaluations, teacher evaluations. And I was like, I got to talk about that. I got to talk about that. And so like when those things come to mind, and actually I'm going to write it down right now because I'm going to forget. That's how it works in my life and in my head. Evaluations. I've got to talk about that because for me, evaluations were a really big like dagger in my heart as a teacher because it made me feel like I wasn't good enough. And there were labels like needs improvement, right? Or effective or highly effective. Now, for somebody like me, and I'm going off on a tangent, so I'll be done in 2 seconds, but for me, like effective is not good enough. And like, but that's what I was rated over and over again. And so like, just stuff like that. So as you start getting ideas or you think of like, oh man, something from your past, or, oh, that's something I really dream of and want one day. That's your avatar. That's who you are. Okay. So be that energy that you want to attract as you're posting. Moving on. Okay. So a couple tips, guys. You got to take it one day at a time. So right now I know you've got a million ideas probably bubbling through your head, and that's awesome, but doesn't mean that you've got to figure out every single one of those answers tonight and start posting about it immediately. Okay. You might not know everybody's wants, needs, desires, emotions overnight for your avatar. You might not figure that out, right? Like I didn't realize I needed to talk about my avatar's evaluations until I was in the shower today, right? And I've been coaching for 3 years. So it's a process. Okay. And like I said, it's going to be the old you, the present you, and the future you too, that you're crafting it all around. So know that as you evolve as a coach, this will also evolve. So just take it one day at a time, one post at a time. Use your answers from those questions to craft posts that get in your audience's head. Remember I said that earlier, and they make them ask themselves, how did they know that? Or I needed this today. They were speaking to me. Guys, you don't know how many times I get messages now where somebody will say, wow, Brittany, I needed that post today. And that's all they say. Like, I needed that. Oh my gosh, you have no idea. Well, I know you needed it. Yeah, I actually do have an idea because I know you needed it because you're me. Like, I get it. I'm getting in their heads. And timing is everything, you guys. So you never know. Okay. There's times I post and whoever needed it, quote unquote, that day doesn't say anything. They don't message me. They don't comment. They don't even like it. But they needed it. I had interesting story. I had somebody message me this weekend she was a friend of mine back in Miami. Her boyfriend was Adriel, my ex-boyfriend's best friend. And so when Adriel and I broke up and all that went down, she also broke up with me. We were no longer friends. And she messaged me and she's like, you don't know how many days you post, and I get what you're saying and I need it. Please never stop posting. Don't stop doing what you're doing. You have no idea. Like, and so you'll get that, but you got to get in their heads, right? And you've got to understand that it's like an iceberg, right? You can see the tip of the people that liked it and commented, but you don't even really understand the depth of what's going on underneath all that, right? So just know timing is everything. And when that person is ready to reach out to you to talk, they will. Trust me, they will. So we're going to meet Nina. I have a funny story about Nina. So when I was, you're going to name your avatar. So I'm going to tell you how I named my avatar, Nina. This is my avatar. Are you guys meeting her? Hi, Nina. Can you picture Nina being on our team call soon? So Nina here, when I was young, I had an imaginary friend. I can't believe I'm telling this story right now. Okay, when I was little, I had an imaginary friend, and her name was Nina, because I was the youngest of my brothers, and I only had brothers. And so my mom, she often worked very late and didn't come home, and there was a rule growing up in our house that I could not have friends over if my mom wasn't home. And so I literally could never have friends over because my mom wasn't home. And so it was either get beat up by my brothers or have an imaginary friend and talk to her. And so I opted for Nina, and Nina was her name, and we did everything. I mean, like, I gave her, you guys, you don't even understand. I gave her a house down the street, like where my mom's house was. It looked this, like, I'm looking across the street and there were other houses, and like maybe like here and then 2 doors down, that house was like some old lady. I don't even know who lived there, honestly. We lived on the street with a lot of old ladies, so you never saw them. So like 2 doors down in this old lady's house, old lady didn't live there. Nina lived there. And so I would walk around the block after school, and Nina and I would be walking home from school together, and she'd go to her house, and then I go to my house, and like, she was my imaginary friend, Nina, straight up. Anytime that I taught school in my bedroom, because I loved teaching school as a kid, Nina was always one of my students. Like, even ask my mom, it was crazy. So Nina, that's my Nina. Now, you're going to probably wonder, Brittany, who's this beautiful Nina in this picture with this gorgeous dog? I don't know. I Googled Brittany, and I found the person that was like, yes, that's Nina. So I encourage you to do a little bit of psycho stuff like me. Name your avatar and go look online for a picture of somebody that you're like, that's kind of me. That's kind of like who I think I am. I actually have brown hair, really dark brown hair, not actually blonde. So that fits me a little bit better than my fake blonde hair. So this is Nina, guys, and I'm going to take you through Nina. All right. So Nina, here's her profile. Let me go back to presentation mode so we can get this a little bigger. So her profile. So she is female. Now, she doesn't have to be every single one of these. I don't want you to get it twisted. So you're like, Brittany, I'm not that person. Guys, you know I love you. But this is like, if she had all of these, I'd just be like, get out of here. Like, you're crazy. Get out of my face. You can't be me. So she's female, in her late 20s to 30s. She's engaged, newly married, strong and independent. So if she's not engaged or newly married, she's definitely a strong, independent woman. Dog mom. She loves fitness. She loves being a teacher, or she is a teacher, or she's just a teacher at heart. Color guard and the arts are a part of her life. Her current thoughts and situations. So she thinks, is this all there is? She feels stuck. She knows she is worth more. She can't put her finger on what that is, though. She feels strong yet weak. She might be battling depression or anxiety. She's very hopeful, though. She's faith-driven, or like I said earlier, maybe she's trying to figure out what that means for her. She loves to meditate and do yoga. She's very intuitive, driven, a girl boss, creative. Her history, she was a partier. Allowed people and opinions to control her greatly, cared so much what others thought. She had a lot of unhealthy habits. She came from a divorced family, and that really impacted her life. She traveled the world, used to be afraid of church. Personality traits, she's silly. She loves to sing and is not good at it. I voice messaged Julianne today, and I sang half of the message. I was like, hey girl, talk to you later. The whole thing was like a sing song. And so I messaged her right back immediately because I had avatar in the brain. And I was like, P.S. I also just figured out that my avatar loves to sing song everything. So that's totally my avatar. Random, total outbursts of randomness, passionate, takes the lead on things, outgoing, introvert. So she's outgoing, and she loves to take that lead and have those random outbursts and be silly, but she's an introvert at heart. Loving, caring, and a people-first mentality. She's a giver. She's driven. The activities and interests she loves, fitness. She's maybe a runner or a marathoner, color guard in the arts, books, quotes, wine, cooking, creating, wearing tank tops, Target, Food Network. She loves style and things that are design-based, hiking, sun and sand. She spends her money on tank tops, dog stuff, food and groceries, wine. She spends her money on other people, likes to buy gifts for people. She spends her money on things for the house, coffee, books, anything at Home Goods or Target. And she wants financial freedom. She wants friendships that are meaningful. She wants happiness. She wants to have a family one day. She wants to travel. She wants a nice home with a fireplace and an island in the kitchen. She wants a beach house. She wants to have a cabin retreat with her girls, like her tribe. Guys, I don't even think you understand. I picture this all the time, that one day we're all going to be somewhere in a snowy cabin one winter, and it'll be like our retreat together. And it's going to be us. We're all going to be there. I see it. We're in this cabin, and it's amazing. So cabin retreat, a tribe of women that latch onto and love each other. She wants to write a book one day. She wants to be a successful Beachbody coach, and she wants to be a successful blogger. So that is escape. Okay. So that's Nina. That's everything about Nina, and it can continue to grow and craft. And that's just like the tip of the iceberg with it. It could get way more in depth, but I think that's a pretty good start for Nina. In terms of like companies that do this, I know that, what do you call it? Who are they? Lululemon. They have their woman name, like the mannequin, her name is Ocean, and they craft all of their products and everything based on her. Ocean is her name. So attract what you expect, reflect what you desire, become what you respect, and mirror what you admire, guys. You're crafting your story based on you. Okay, I'm gonna stop the share. And it says we have 8 minutes left, so this is perfect. Yes. I'm not going to unmute everybody. You can, what I want you to do for a second, I'll give you like 5 minutes. Did you guys did you see and write down, let me come back to it, the profile and all that other stuff like that I listed? Did you write down those points in the middle there? Cool. So that's what I want you to do right now. You don't have to name your avatar if you don't have a name off the top of your head just yet, but I eventually do want you to name her. We're going to be diving in a lot deeper. This is just the beginning of all this, but for tonight, in the next, I'll give you guys 5 to 6 minutes. I want you to start writing down things similar to how I wrote down. So I'm going to pull the screen back up. I'm going to share again. I'm going to pull it back up to that one so that you can see what I have written, so that it can help spark ideas for you. But I want you to go through the profile, your current thoughts and situations, history, et cetera, et cetera. Just start doing that. Even as simple as your language, guys. You might notice I use y'all or friends or my beautiful friends, or I'm talking like how I would speak to people. And I try to break it up the way I would speak to people, like where I would pause, if you watch in my posting. That's all avatar based. About another minute, guys. I feel like I'm like administering a test right now. Flashbacks. Okay, I'm gonna stop the share and bring us back. Okay, I'm gonna, does anybody wanna share one of their favorite categories or their one they're most kind of excited about or like aha about? Like, oh, I didn't even realize that this was something I could talk about.
I'll talk real quick. So a long time ago, we used to do like chat room role playing, like when I was in 8th grade. It was super nerdy. But my character was named Brit, so I have a Brit. And I was looking at her personality traits, and she's weird, and she thinks that she's really funny. Might not be. And I took a strength finder thing at my school, and a lot of the things were really interesting because my strengths are like I'm a harmonious person, and I'm a person who relates well to others, and I avoid conflict. And I didn't really put that together as a selling point. You know, just getting along and being kind and all that stuff. So I thought that was interesting in the personality aspect of it.
I love it. Guys, it says less than a minute. If we get cut off, I can message you guys a link to join back in to finish this if we get cut off, okay? So just, if that happens, just know I'll send it right away. Does anybody else want to share?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
You can hear me. Okay, so for
Yes.
like down at the bottom for the wants, along with the whole financial freedom, I kind of my avatar would like money to be able to spend on more family time, more things with the family, and also to be able to spend money for things for the